No, it's 8 now. It's 8 for a
Jesus.
spot. It's $266,666 per second. You finally brought some stuff?
Me?
Yeah, did you finally
Just a
bring
little
some
bit.
Yeah?
Just a little bit of things. Yeah,
I like
got a
that.
little bit.
All right, what do you got? What do you
Coming
got
back
for us?
from coming back from a big weekend, Super Bowl weekend.
Which the Super Bowl, the actual Super Bowl was underwhelming.
Yeah, I was surprised it turned out the way it did. I mean, they started coming back towards the end for the last couple of minutes.
It kind of felt very like there's so much money that changes hands now.
I know.
So you want to think like, is that the outcome everybody wanted, hoped for, bet on?
I feel like there's too many people involved for there not to be leaks being like, we paid, we did this to blow the game or whatever. There's no way.
I don't know. I mean, these are some powerful groups. Like,
oh, definitely.
NFL makes a lot of money off of ticket sales.
You know what I found out is I thought that the person performing in the halftime show pays to be there. They don't. The NFL pays for it.
They don't get paid though.
They don't get paid. Right. They go off of like promotions and you know, they get their word out, their name out there. But I thought they paid to be performing. But
no, like the set gets like paid for by yeah. But still, like most musicians have a hard time doing it because you're not getting paid.
It's crazy because it's the most watched event in America, and you're gonna care about not getting paid for something like that? Like, that's wild to me. That's free publicity.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like one of those like artist things. Like, I'm not gonna like give into the system.
Oh God.
I think that's where it comes from. I think originally that's where it comes from. I think like Rihanna I still think her performance is one of the best, which was a few Super Bowls back. I don't know why she did it at all, because she's just like had all kinds of hit albums and just like killed it.
She's a billionaire too.
But maybe she just did it because it's fun. And like, and maybe that's why some of them do it, because it is a big stage, like you said. The problem is it's a big stage. And if you don't do a good job, which this one,
dude,
I like Kendrick. He's a good musician and good artist, but no.
First of all, he should be canceled or sued for the pants he was wearing. What the fuck was he wearing?
I don't know, dude. Maybe it's like a nod to a different style. I don't know.
That was the worst style. I've never, like, dude, you're trying to be a G, trying to be a thug, and that's what you wear?
I don't know.
Bell bottoms? I lost my goddamn mind. Lost it.
I mean, maybe you have to dissect it more. Like, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe it ties into something else. Like, I have no idea. I do know that his performance was in and out of a lot of political, it was very, and then the whole like Drake diss stuff inside of his performance, which is fine. Like, they have this thing going, but like, do you really need to drag it onto TV too? Like, is that the bigger move, or is that the like smaller move to be like, yeah, I'm going to diss you on TV in front of 100 million people?
Hey, when he brought that part up, everybody started singing it in the crowd.
True.
But here's my thing is, Kendrick Lamar isn't, it's, I don't want to say household name, but like not everybody knows him and not everybody knows his songs. So like all of his songs that he's singing there, more than half the crowd, 80% of the crowd doesn't even know what the song is.
True. I think his new stuff, ended up being that way.
I think it was a terrible choice of halftime show performances to have him on.
Yeah, but maybe nobody else wanted to do it.
No way.
I mean, like, who else are you going to get that wants to do it?
Dude, I'll take anybody at this point. Shit,
really?
You could have brought the Spice Girls back. That would have been more enjoyable.
Yeah, but that would have been killer. Like, Spice Girls.
That would have been fire.
I don't know why it's one of those things that less artists want to be a part of. Like you said, you're in front of 100 million people. It's great. But
I would love to see how they get, like, is there a list, or like, is there people like, almost applying, being like, I'll do it or whatever. I wonder how they came to get Kendrick.
There has to be. But you know what? The top of the top who are killing it probably don't do it because they know they can do it. And they're like, well, I'll just wait for like 10 more years when I'm like exiting my career and then I'll do it.
Well, that's what happened. What, last year when they brought in like all the old school R&B.
That was pretty good
like,
though.
that was fire.
Yeah.
That was
I
so
like
dope.
that.
Yeah. But everybody knew those songs. Everybody was singing along. Everybody at home loved it. You know what I mean? Like that's like playing a Biggie song now or a Michael Jackson song. As soon as you turn it on, everybody knows it.
And that's the point of the Super Bowl show. It's not because you need to deliver a message to somebody else in the industry, or you need to deliver a political message. I don't think, at least. I mean, I understand there's a lot of things going on in the world, and the country, but I think that's the one day right now. Like there's plenty of other days, but like that's like it's like a fun celebration for everybody in sport, and we like to watch the commercials and it's fun, and then you're having this like political crazy message on top of it, and then your performance isn't good.
Yeah, the performance was terrible. Speaking of political though, do you know that Trump was there and that was the first president to ever go to a Super Bowl?
I was gonna say, I figured it probably was because they would always, although they don't probably show them all the time, but yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. He's was in that space before, like he was in the limelight of like celeb limelight, so he's not your typical president, I guess, when it comes to that. So maybe that's why. Taylor Swift got booed too.
Dude, that was wild.
Yeah. I get people are up and down about her, but like I don't think you need to do that.
Well, like at the end of the day,
what's the point?
Yeah, I was gonna say at the end of the day, what has she actually done? But she did endorse Kamala, so I think that's why people were, because they showed Trump and then they showed her.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. I mean, and then you're like looking at it, is it like then it's on the TV channel and the production to be putting those stops in, like, all right, we're gonna go to Trump and we're gonna go to Taylor. Like, they're calling the shots to also put this political stuff in these people's, like, they want people to talk about it.
Right.
Like the Super Bowl has probably fallen off, I think, as an event. I think it's cool. I think people still go, but I wonder if it's the same as it's been for like viewership. And maybe that's why they start doing these like fun little things where like, oh, show her, show him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, and the commercials up until this year have been like, well, the last like couple years have been like shitty. It hasn't been the same.
There has been some good ones,
but I think it used to be way better. People used to just watch the Super Bowl for the commercial
because they were so so good. The one that I will never forget, I think it was Mountain Dew, the Puppy Monkey Baby.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Mountain Dew had a terrible one this year.
I know.
Yeah.
I will never forget that one. And I think that's the thing, is they used to make, or like the Clydesdale ones with Budweiser.
Yeah,
they always do those.
Really good. Yeah.
So like there are some that just kill. This year, there were a couple.
There were a couple. I think they're bringing back more of the not really caring, more risky comedy, more, I saw a couple of them and I was just like, the mayonnaise one.
Yeah.
And she pretended to have like an orgasm eating them.
Well, that's a nod back to the movie.
Right. But you couldn't have done that, last year, 2 years ago. You wouldn't have done that, So I thought that was really creative.
Was it Sally Met Harry or something? Yeah. The movie? Yeah. So it's actually a scene that they basically reenacted, but with mayonnaise, which I think is, it's funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It was creative. Yeah.
And
$3 million worth. I don't know, but
it's 8 million, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like 7 or 8 million. Yeah.
No, it's 8 now.
Jesus.
It's 8 for a spot. It's $266,666 per second.
That's insane.
That's for the spot. That's not for the production.
Right. And then you got to pay for the production. And there was so many celebrities in almost every single commercial.
Right.
Like, not just actors. They were all celebrities.
So you look at that and you're like, okay, you got to pay all those people out. You got to figure out like usage rights. You've got to pay for crew. They're like everybody that works on their team. I mean, you're in for like 15, 20 mil.
Yeah.
So you better hope it returns.
Dude, and that's some of these commercials were terrible. It's like,
Terrible.
who is the creative director here, like figuring this commercial out? Because you just spent so much money, and this commercial is the worst I've ever seen.
I think it's one thing that I would love to be a part of in my career is just even to be in the room when they're deciding on an ad. Like I don't even have to shoot it or be a
Right.
part of the team. I just want to know like
Sean's in the
what is being pitched and what are people picking, because like they got to pitch like 20 ideas in the room and they're like, okay, yeah, and then they go with the one.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that one sucked. What was the other one? Like, were they worse, or does somebody just have bad taste?
Oh, dude, some of them I couldn't believe it.
The Nike one was good. The Go Win one. It was like uplifting female athletes.
Yeah. Right. And it was, but I'm on the opposite of that. I don't think that's a good thing.
Because you think it's forced?
I think it's very forced.
Yeah.
I mean, to like, just do it. Just like, or what was the tagline?
Go win.
Go win. Mean, like, what do you mean go win? Like,
well, I think and maybe I'm wrong, but I think they're saying like, they told you couldn't do it. They told you couldn't win. So go win, which is like, it ties back to like, I mean,
but then you have to think about it. Who's telling them they can't win? Who's telling them not to do it?
I mean, I think it's more of a hit on women and job place and everything else in the world that women have fought for and that are still fighting for, because it's not like, oh, it's sunshine and rainbows right now. I mean, I don't know because I'm not a woman, but from talking, I just have
could be. I
mean, for listeners out there, I'm not a woman, but I want to say that, like, from talking to colleagues and like my sister, my wife, like people have talked about these things. Like they're not things that are just coming up. So I think it's a nod to that. Like they're telling us we can't do it, so we're going to go do it because that's what we've been doing. So I don't think it was like forced. I mean, I get your side of it where it's like, why do we have to keep hitting it? But I think it's because it's still an issue and people are still
I think this
guess.
Super Bowl was very political in every aspect. And even they took down what was it? They have them in the back of the field every year, end racism or something. They took those signs down. They have them in like the end zones of each side.
And they've had them every year, and they didn't have them this year?
They didn't have them this year. Well, they didn't have them every year, but like, when this whole thing became racism became a thing again or whatever, they started putting them in the end zone, and they took them down this year.
Interesting.
Which, to me, it's like, why would you even have them up in the first place? But yeah, every part of this whole Super Bowl is political. Do you know in Kendrick's halftime show, there wasn't one white person? Every single person on that stage and dancing, everybody was black.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, if you want equality, how is that equal? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess
but I think it was more of a statement. I think it was more of a statement.
It was 100% statement.
Yeah, I think it's on purpose. I don't think that was like,
let's just definitely on purpose. Yeah. Like a lot of these things don't feel like they are, but like the Trump Taylor thing, that was on purpose.
I didn't even look at it like that until you said that, and I was like, oh shit, that makes sense. Yeah,
because now people are talking about it. Yeah. Now people are posting about it.
But imagine if it was all white people. They would have been up in arms if it was all white people.
He wouldn't have done it.
Well, right, but
it's like
it's crazy.
Like, it is crazy, but there's all these messages. I mean, in all of the media we get today, they're trying to sell messages and also fear. Like if you're not giving us fear on our feeds right now, like we are, like it's something that always happens. Like if you go on your Twitter feed or your Instagram feed, at some point you'll see something that's like slightly tragic, and then if you like click on it or wait too long on it, your algorithm starts sending you more of those things. And it feels like the world is really collapsing. Like, I mean, which is kind of true. I mean, that's
how the news does it. Everything on the news is just sad or terrible.
Which is why a lot of people choose not to watch it, which doesn't mean you're not informed. You're just informed on your own terms, which I think is probably better.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to get informed on what's happening in the world and all you're doing is watching Fox News or some other news channel, you're not getting the real story,
Right.
which we might never get anyways. Like you might never get the real story because no one's telling it
That's
and
what
no one
sucks
gives
too.
them the platform.
Right. Exactly. And it's because it's not, independent journalism anymore. It's not journalism anymore. It's how can we sell what we're trying to sell to our customers and vice versa to the other side. They're doing the same. So it
Right. And
sucks.
unless you have a big following, you can't just go post stuff on Twitter or Instagram and tell the world what's happening.
Yeah.
So I think that whole thing needs to change on how we're like learning about what's happening in the world. I mean,
What'd you think about the Bud Light commercial? They took a left turn.
Post Malone,
Yeah.
I liked it, man. Like, it's funny because the whole cul-de-sac thing, which I live on a cul-de-sac, so I can relate to all these things. But I think it's funny because there's a comedian, I think it was Nate Bargatze in his new special, also talked about like cul-de-sac living. And like, so it's interesting how there's like a through line. Like somebody started talking about it, and then Bud Light somehow got wind of that through either another comedian or so there's that part that I think was genius about it, is like like leaning into something that's relatable and then having fun with it. And I think they pulled off a good commercial. It was funny.
So they pulled off a great commercial. I thought it was good too. I love Shane. He's so funny.
Shane's hilarious.
Yeah. But
Tires is good on Netflix.
yeah.
Right.
Now they're leaning towards, the whole like dude, bro, like, shooting Bud Lights off and it, grilling, mowing.
Yeah, like 180.
Right. Complete 180.
Which is noticeable.
Right.
So I don't know if it's like a brand saving thing. Like
it has to be. Dude, it has to be. Your brand, you literally almost sunk your own ship when you did whatever
I
branding
don't think
you
they'll
did.
ever sink their ship. I mean, it's Bud Light. People are gonna drink it.
Oh, I love Bud Light.
I know you do.
I'll drink Bud Light
that's
over
your
water.
go-to. You tried to get a Bud Light at a Mexican restaurant the other night.
Dude, I didn't even know that wasn't a
have...
thing. I was like, how do you not have Bud Light?
The lady
Should I
looked
say
at
in
you
Spanish?
like she looked at you like, no, we don't have Bud Light.
She was not
It's a
psyched.
Mexican restaurant. And I was like, dude, get a Modelo or something.
Yeah, I got a Dos Equis and that was good.
You liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. I actually almost liked it more than Bud Light, but don't say anything.
I mean, which is not weird.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't have pepperoni pizza, so I was a little bummed, but
Bud Light didn't lose you.
They didn't lose me.
When they put the commercial out.
I mean,
my point is,
right, they'll never lose me.
But do they lose enough people, you think?
I think they almost did. I honestly think they almost did. I mean, now they're in the UFC. Now they're completely going with the demographic that was their demographic the whole time. They're leaning back into it.
Why do you think brands have to lean into a demographic though? Like, why can't you?
Well, to sell.
Yeah, but
I guarantee you Bud Light will never go down that road again because they saw what happened. Now, if this was like a knitting company or a fucking thong company,
bro.
it's like I could see them going down that because that's, that could be their, genre or whatever.
I guess, but I think people put brands in boxes, and I don't think you need to. Like, look at Coca-Cola. Theirs is happiness, which they sell a product that's probably not good for you. I mean, let's be honest. Like, it tastes good and yeah, it's great, but like not good for your health at all. But people will buy it, and people love the happiness factor, and everybody can relate to happiness.
But now have their commercials lean towards this type of way or this type of way. You know what I mean? It sticks with the happiness and like cheersing smart. And whatever. They don't go right. They don't veer off.
But that's what I think. I think if you're going to go extreme, you shouldn't go extreme into a path of.
They've never been.
Yeah, 100%. Like Liquid Death, for instance, they go super extreme, but they're not so extreme that they're on one side or the other, or they're leaning towards like straight males or straight females or gay female. It doesn't matter. They're like, we stand for something like we stand for like partying and
Mm-hmm.
like being cool and celebrating, and like everybody can do that.
Yeah.
So
The
I
one
think
hard
that's,
thing that I've noticed, like it being in production, is when we shoot some commercials, you hear some of these people talking sometimes, and they're like, oh, we need a black person in this, or oh, we need to make this even, so we need to get an Asian person or a woman. And it's
yeah.
like, why don't you just shoot the commercial and like just shoot it? Who cares who it is? And it's like, because they know that when people are watching, oh, why didn't they have a gay man in there, or why didn't they have, a black woman in the commercial? They're racist or whatever. And it's forcing these companies to, like, they have to really pick, and like make sure they hit all the marks before they film. I don't know. I think it's so stupid.
Yeah, but like you can't undo that. I think we've gone into this new era of, it's not a bad thing. We're trying to include everybody, but yes, it
No,
sometimes
but it is
feels
that is a
forceful.
bad thing.
It feels forceful at times.
Yeah. This is
It's
how you
not.
this is how you undo it. Just like the Super Bowl took away the we're not racist, or stop racism, you just stop talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, you stop bringing up the genders, the sexes, the all that stuff, and just live life, and people will go back to be, living life.
Yeah, I feel like that's a beautiful idea, but it's not possible because there are people in certain spaces that are feeling this stress and feeling people are taking things away from them. And some of them are right. I mean, I'm not saying everything people are saying is true, but maybe you and I don't feel affected by some of these things, but some people do. So I think that's why it's front and center. Like, some people feel affected. Are they right or wrong? I don't know. I don't like, there's certain things that I think haven't been resolved. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some stuff that hasn't been resolved, and there's ongoing stuff there's ongoing problems that I don't know we'll ever solve.
I just feel like we're getting too soft as a country.
Yeah. I
I'm glad,
mean,
like, jokes and stuff are coming back. You're allowed to,
yeah,
you're allowed without getting canceled.
right. I think
But
I think there's certain spaces where people do have to like let go a little bit. Like comedy, luckily it is coming back to that, cuz like it's storytelling, and it's also storytelling in a way that's supposed to make you laugh. Not everybody's going to laugh, but
right.
some will. And you get to choose who you want to listen to. It's like any music. Like, not every music is good for everybody. Like,
Mm-hmm.
somebody might not like country, but they like hip hop, or vice versa. It's the same with comedy. Comedy is not one thing. Like, I love comedy. It's
Right.
like, yeah, everybody loves to laugh, but like, this lady might say some jokes that people are offended about, and this lady might say some jokes that people love. Like, it's not everybody, all sizes, whatever, one size fits all.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Nothing is that.
Right.
But I think that's where all this stuff comes into play, is people are trying to fit into all the right places in the boxes and have people be happy. And not everybody's gonna be happy. You're gonna do something, you're gonna do an ad, people are gonna hate it, people are gonna love it. Like, it's just life.
That's exactly it. But that's what I come down to. I'm like, if I owned a company or something, I would just do what I want to do. And it is what it is. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Cool. Don't come shop at my place. And if you do like it, awesome. Come shop.
Yeah, I think the problem is when you get big enough, you have so many stakeholders.
I
And
guess, yeah. And then you have to start pleasing everybody, and you got to
mhm,
make the right moves, or else, like, yeah. Yeah.
which is tough, because what used to be what you did for ads was great and could do well now, but now there's more people at the table, and not
Yeah.
everybody likes that old style that was killing it.
Hmm.
Which, the crazy thing is, for most companies, the whole idea is to make money. And
Right.
so if this thing was making money, why did you stop doing it?
I think they're just, yeah. The whole cancel culture, I think they were just scared to get canceled.
Oh my God. Dude, the one thing that I was going to talk about for these Super Bowl commercials, though, is like, besides the Nike one, the other one that I loved was the The dream job one. Did you see that one? The Google one?
Um, I don't know. What was it about?
So it was basically about this guy who is a dad, and he's doing like the AI thing with the Google phone, and he's basically talking to the Google phone. It's like, I'm trying to get ready for this, like, or like, what's your past job experience? And he's like, oh, it was tough. It was long nights. And it's showing all this footage of him like staying up with his kids and like bringing them to school because he was a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
And so it's really incredible because he's like telling the story, and they're showing all the footage of him like basically being a dad and just killing it, and like going through the positives and the negatives. And then it cuts to at the very end where he's just basically like, he signs off with the AI, and they're like, okay, I think you're ready. And like, you see the phone go down, you see like a little sticky note that says like, good luck, dad. And he logs into a online meeting, and it's like, hey, Mr. So-and-so, are you ready for your interview? And so he's like moving on to the next job in his life.
Yeah.
Really good.
That was
Really good
cool.
storytelling. Definitely spent a lot of money on it, but I think
See, but
very
that's good. That's storytelling. It was great. Like, dude, I saw some like Squarespace and then another website builder. I forget what one. Dude, one of them was like they were in Ireland. Some guy was riding a donkey, throwing laptops, being
what?
like,
I didn't see that one.
yeah, it was. I think it was a Squarespace one, and it was terrible.
A laptop
Yeah,
throwing laptops off of a donkey.
being like, I don't even. It was so stupid that it wasn't even like there was no story. There was no. It just wasn't creative. I was just like, how are you guys spending this much money on this commercial and no one can relate to it? You know, it was. I don't know. It's very weird.
Well, there's another one that did that, which this is really controversial. And I mean, it is what it is. I don't really have any
No,
stake in the
let's
game
talk.
here.
Yeah, let's
But
talk shit. Oh, I'm down.
so the He Gets Us campaign, the Jesus commercials. Did you see that one?
I don't think so. I had to recap. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to
Oh,
recap it all.
well, it kind of makes sense this wasn't included in your recap for some reasons. The whole like religious Jesus thing, fine, great. That, I mean, everybody has their thing. People believe in what they believe in. That's great. The thing I find interesting is the production level of this was insane, like next level. I found the guy who did the photography. So it's just photos. They just pop up,
Their commercial was just photos.
just photos.
Wow.
And they're really incredible photos. You look at the BTS, and they had like enough crew to make a feature film. They had like RE lights blasting into silks, and like just for a photo.
Wow.
So they had these like beautiful, like massive sets. He shot on a Leica SL3, which is a 60 megapixel camera. He shot on all Leica glass, which probably like $100,000 worth of lenses. The crew was like, there were like 5 executive producers, like incredible amounts of crew, and it was just photography.
See, that's what
So
I
it
don't
probably
understand.
cost, well,
It
I
saved the
dug
company
into
so
it.
much money.
I dug into it a little bit. I'm like, so what is this He Gets Us? And so I like looked into it. It's a nonprofit, but then you got to dig in because you're like, is it a nonprofit?
Right.
And apparently, I don't know enough about this company, but just from like a quick search, they were connected to another company who was basically keeping money. I mean, this He Gets Us company is worth, I think, $1.3 billion.
As a nonprofit.
Yep.
Wow.
And I think for every something like, it's almost, there was a number like $500 million was kept from contributions. So like not given back so like they're using, and maybe this shit gets taken down because we're talking about something that
Get Doge after them.
yeah. So what they're doing is they're taking something like religion, and it seems like on the surface, at least, maybe I'm wrong, that they're using it to prop up, make money, build these massive, I mean, when you make a commercial, what is it? It's a write-off.
Mm-hmm.
It's a massive write-off. So you spend $10 million and then $8 million for the spot. you get this beautiful spot, people like love it or whatever, and they think like, oh, it's great, it's for Jesus, all that stuff.
Right.
And those people don't look into it. They don't
Mm-hmm.
go deep.
Right. But it's a way around the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
But that's where, and like,
being shady.
and all this money goes to people who are not needing the money. So,
Well, I mean, it shouldn't even go to them anyways. You know, even if they did need it, it shouldn't be used for that, like someone's profit. I mean, it's literally in the name, nonprofit. You
right.
know?
But that's how a lot of these operate. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, and not all nonprofits. There's some awesome ones out there that do great work, but there's a lot of shady ones
That was
that,
close. You almost got canceled right there.
no,
You saved yourself.
I think you get canceled before I get canceled.
Dude, at least every 5 minutes, I'm canceled again.
I don't know. I mean, you would have to say some crazy stuff, I think. We only have 40 subscribers right now. So, like, out of all
no
those
one's
40
canceling me.
people, it's like, it would have to be probably your family that would cancel you.
Elena's canceled me a couple of times, but that's about it.
Well, that makes sense.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Elena.
One of the things personally that I found when I was doing research on some of these like video topics, I saw this cool commercial for this ice cream maker, and it's by Shark Ninja, which I know Elena and I have talked about a bunch because I'm pretty sure they're a Boston-based company. I think it's Ninja.
I think I saw this one.
Dude, you can make anything
With
into
the
ice
flavors.
cream. It makes anything into ice cream. So like,
like you could throw like a Snickers in there and make you a Snickers ice cream?
yeah, or like you could throw like blueberries and strawberries and it makes it into like a blueberry strawberry ice cream, like soft serve.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to buy one.
I sold you.
So I watched it and it was
Wow.
like, make anything into ice cream. I mean, you could put chocolate, peanut butter, or whatever in it, and then it just makes it into ice cream.
So
Like
what do you have to obviously load it with ice cream and then put whatever you want and it kind of just blends it all together?
Yeah, I think you load it with like some sort of milk, and then it has internally, it like freezes it and makes.
Oh, wait, it's actually making
dude, it makes it on
ice
the
cream.
spot.
Gotcha.
Like a coffee maker. Like you can have this on your countertop,
Wow.
dude.
That's
I think
pretty wild.
we got to get one. We got to try
test
it.
it
Maybe
out.
we'll have it at the studio or something. It's
Instead of serving
$350,
coffee.
so
Dude,
it's a
that's
lot.
not bad at all. What? For
I
what
mean,
it's doing? That's not
true.
bad at all.
True. I guess an ice cream nowadays is like $12.
Yeah, that's crazy. To do what it's doing for 350. I mean, dude, these glasses, $300, and for what it can do,
It can't make
they're
you ice
amazing.
cream.
You're right, but you're right. I could probably tell it to go make me some ice cream though.
Someday. They did a commercial with those. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
It was all right. I
Yeah.
feel like you could have done a lot better.
Dude, they could have done, I think, you have all year to figure out a commercial. Like, how
All
can't
year.
you be super, super creative? The technology
Yeah.
too, with like, VFX and all that, it's like, you can just do some crazy things. You can do anything. You literally could do anything.
Why has no one done, or maybe this exists, but not that I've seen, but why has no one done a commercial that leads into the Super Bowl? Like maybe it's like some sort of story and then it ends like it's almost live there.
Oh, like they're on the field or something?
Yeah, but somehow it feels like it's really being filmed and it picks up. Or you maybe you pay the extra money and you pick up the spot at the very end and the character in the commercial like walks over and like buys a Bud Light at the counter or whatever, and like you see the BTS and it's like on site. I don't know. Like what if it was part of the event?
Yeah. I mean, the hard thing is, but you could also show it without it, but to show, because you don't know what teams are going to be in it, but you could show that you're at the Super Bowl without showing, I guess, the teams.
I'm saying finish the commercial live.
Oh.
On site during the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Like you pay for the spot and you're like, and you finish the spot, or you film the whole spot live at the Super Bowl.
Right.
Dude, no one's doing that.
Wow. But that, I mean, if something messes up live, like your money's out the door.
Yeah, but that's how the Super Bowl is, like the halftime show. It's like, it's live.
Yeah.
Which Did you see the other thing? Not to go back to that, but there was a guy. I can't believe they did a great job of not showing this on camera. I saw somebody film it on their phone. There was a guy with a Gaza flag who was running around during the Super Bowl halftime show.
On the
He,
field?
he he even stood up next to the car that Kendrick was singing next to.
Wow.
It took them like 3 minutes to get him, but he made it around, like somehow was never in a camera angle.
You know what's crazy is not only is security super tight, the president of the United States was there and there was Secret Service. How did this guy get on the field?
Right. You're like, was it an inside thing? Did somebody let him on?
Right. How would that even be like possible?
Right. The biggest game of the year, and all of a sudden some random guy's just running around by himself.
Yeah. That's weird. Wow.
They tackled him. They hit him hard. Like
Exactly.
they dragged him off. But you're right.
Jesus.
It's like, how do you, I don't think even if you tried, you could do that.
Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy. I don't know. Another personal thing I got is this. I got a DJI mini mic.
Wait, what is that?
It's a mini mic, dude.
No way. What do you just like put it right here? Like it has the magnet? First of all, the magnet thing that they came out with, I think is amazing, by the way.
Is that what this is? I just got it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So you put it on the inside of your shirt and just the magnets on the outside.
Damn.
You like that?
Yeah. So I got it because I'm going to try and I'm going snowboarding with my son, and I'm going to try and like get some audio of him, like
mic him up. That's
first
awesome.
day on the mountain.
Dude,
see what
but
he says.
I've never seen it that small. That's awesome.
These are tiny, right?
Yeah. Wow.
And it comes with like a little, so I have two of them, and it comes with one receiver.
Yeah.
The one receiver can either connect to your phone, a camera, or Bluetooth to
Jesus.
apparently to GoPro.
Dude, you know what's crazy is DJI is taking over the film world. I mean, like, and they're not even, you know, they were a drone company.
Smart.
And it's like they're just taking over.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll go into, I don't think they'll go into big cameras though.
I don't think they will either. I think they're more action cameras and small stuff, but I mean, the stuff they're making is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, all the drones I've had, great.
Yeah.
Always great. The video transmitter is supposed to be really good. The wireless one, I've never used it, but that whole package is really nice. The Ronins, always killer.
Dude, so good. Yeah.
I mean, I had a Movi for a bit. I don't know if you ever got to use that, but
I think like once, yeah.
It was massive.
Yeah.
And like it was expensive and you needed multiple people to run it. And the Ronin, yeah, it doesn't fit every camera, but like for a lot of the stuff we do, it's super quick. Easy to set up.
Yeah.
And
it's just getting easier and easier now. The funny thing with the Movi is like that was like the Red back in the day. You know what I mean? Like that was the tool that you used for the big productions. It's like, oh, he has a Movi. Like, you know what I mean? It must be legit. Like, let's go. Yeah.
People would ask for it. Like, oh, you got a Movi too. And it's like, that's kind of what's happening right now. We talked about it last time. People keep asking for that Ari camera, the Alexa.
Oh, yeah.
Some people say Ari.
Yeah.
I don't know the pronunciation. I know that it's a great company. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
But like the camera itself, I think if you were to buy a camera package with media, screen, all that stuff, it's like $80,000.
It's unreal. And what's unreal about it is no one really would know.
No.
You know what I mean? Like that's to me blows my mind. Like when you're shooting 12K when we talked about it in the last episode, and yet you're putting like a filter on top to make it not as sharp and not, it's like, then what's the point of shooting 12K?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing. It's how you use it, how you process it. And I don't know why it's a request. I don't know why any camera on this, like where we are now in 2025, right. I don't know why anybody's like, well, we'd really love for you to shoot it on XYZ Red camera or Ari. Most of these people asking for it, do they know? Like, exactly. I feel like you could slap a sticker on the side and be like, Ari. So and it's like a Canon GL2 from like 1987.
Dude, that would be amazing. Oh my God.
But
that's the hype about it too, is like you could show up with a DSLR, but like rigged out to the max, rails, V mount, handles, monitor. People would have no clue. They'd be like, oh my God, like this looks so good.
well, that used to be the cool thing.
Right.
We did that. Was it last year or maybe even the year before? It was like, how small of a camera can you film a feature on? Like the Creator, which I still haven't seen, which I should. Have you seen the Creator?
No.
It's supposed to be incredible. That was filmed on an FX3, the whole
Wow.
movie,
Yep.
and a Ronin 4D or
Oh, those.
something.
Yeah. That crazy Ronin.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
they made the FX3 into almost like a Ronin 4D setup, and it was like, but the lenses were like $100,000 lenses.
But what's that telling you? It's like, okay, the lenses are more important, right? And you know, the camera's just the camera.
It always is.
Mhm.
It's always glass. I just got some new DZO lenses that I'm stoked on.
Dude, yeah. So you went DZO and I went RX.
Oh yeah, the IRIX.
IRIX, yeah.
But I think the IRIX ones are really good for mirrorless stuff, and they're light.
The 15 millimeter I have is heavy as hell.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
I
I'm
wish I
thinking
went
of a
with the
different
45,
company.
but
The DZOs I just got are super heavy.
dude,
but
weren't we
they're
just talking about renting? And then you went
I
out and bought
know.
lenses.
Dude, I watched this YouTube video and
it
I
gives
was
you every
watching
time.
this guy shoot this stuff, and it's just incredible. So
What ones did you get?
the Arles, RLARLES, Arles. It's like their top cinema lens, but
Yeah.
still affordable in the way of lenses.
What
So
millimeters?
we got a 25, a 35, a 50, a 75, and a 100.
She's got the whole set.
Yeah, I got the whole set with the case.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I
love
just
it.
got to the point where I'm like, I love all the lenses I have. The ingenues are sweet, but there's really a time and a place for them, and I may end up selling those because they're great, but like
They are
you're
great.
not
They're
not gonna
huge.
run around with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
beautiful
productions,
lenses though.
but it's because it's a Cine zoom and it's a really nice build. But I think for what we do, a lot of this stuff is run and gun. The nice thing about those lenses is you get a range. So you get like a 40 to 90.
Do you like primes or do you like zooms better?
I mean, man, when you put a prime for like an interview, you just get, so these lenses are also VistaVision. So they're larger than full frame. So they fit the Raptor at 8K full sensor.
Yeah.
So like, cause like the ingenues, even at full frame, they kind of like, I think when you get down to like the 15, you see a vignette, because like VistaVision, most people aren't building lenses for that, or they're just starting, because that is actually a bigger sensor than a full frame.
Yeah.
So it gives you more coverage, which is sweet. It fits for the Raptor. Komodo will be good, but it'll punch in on them because it's a Super 35, the Komodo. But I think overall, like just seeing the image out of it, it's incredible. Like you shoot at so they're 1.2s.
Wow.
You shoot them wide open and they're still pretty sharp.
That's
crazy. We're going to have to run around and try them out before our next thing, because they're like, I think they're heavy, but the quality of what you get, you just have to like live on a lens for a bit. Like, okay, I'm going to shoot a 50 for this whole scene instead of flipping lenses in and out.
Yeah, I love 50. I would rather have a heavy lens than like a mediocre lens. Like it just the build just feels better to me. It feels more solid, and it's more durable.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's the same thing with like when you hold a camera. Like people are like, oh, this is super heavy. It must be hard to carry around, but it's actually the weight helps stabilize the image.
Yeah,
which is weird, but like same with the lens. Like you have a heavy lens, you got the battery on the back, like it actually stabilizes the whole camera versus like a DSLR where it's just like tiny and you're holding it.
Micro jitters from your hand.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to try them out.
Shit, that's cool. I got to see them. Yeah.
Well, you can come anytime. It's a mess right here, right now. Elena knows that. It's gonna get cleaned up soon. I promise. Someday. You got anything else?
No, I was just my biggest thing was just shitting on Kendrick's pants. That was really what I was all about for this podcast.
Is
So
that what we're gonna call this episode?
dude, I just don't know where they, I don't know where they came from. I don't know why he wore them.
I bet if you dig in, there's
They
a
mean
reason.
something.